Hi guys, and thanks for joining me again this week. This week I'm going to talk about our full range of emotions. It's going to be a little bit more about our human aspect, the smaller part of who we are. As we advance spiritually, we have to be mindful to not forget our human side. As long as we're alive, we're still going to be in this body, and we're still going to have to look after it. And emotions play a very important part of that. I've especially lately learned again, and it's become so evident how important it is to be healthy emotionally so that our body doesn't fall ill. It's a crazy number. I think, 90% of all diseases are due to stress. And stress is due to repressed emotions. That's not true, not just repressed emotions, but it is due to an emotional state that is not stable, that is not regulated, right? So I think it is very important to make sure that we are aware of our emotions, to learn to accept them, all of them. We can't move through life only wanting to feel the good emotions, always wanting to be happy, and that if we're not happy that something's gone wrong or we're failing in some way. We need to understand and fully accept that as a human being, we're going to have the full range of emotions. We're going to feel all of them, everything. And they are all completely valid. The important part in this is to recognize that we are not our emotions. We're simply aware of them. We're simply feeling them. They're moving through us. Now, when we get defensive towards our emotions, so if an emotion comes up that's not pleasant, let's say envy, we feel envy, and now we're saying, I don't want to be that person that's envy, so I'm going to push it away and pretend it's not there. That's when the problem starts. When we feel envy coming up and we look at it and we go, I'm feeling envious. Why? Because, she has something I don't have, or he has something I don't have, or I want. Why do I want that? And you don't even have to figure out why. It's just, feeling envious because of this. Done. Take a deep breath and release and carry on your day. It's okay. This stuff's going to come up. You're a human being. You're going to move through the world and this stuff comes up. What a true yogi would do, it's like what Michael Singer says. It's like riding on water. Their emotions, they come up, but they don't last. It's like it's nothing. They go straight through, like riding on water. You can't see what's been written. It's gone straight away. As soon as you're riding, it's gone. It has no impact. It has no lasting effect, nothing. It's just happening. So a yogi would feel envy and it'll pass straight through. It has nothing. It doesn't latch. It doesn't, it's just an emotion. It means nothing. Like a cloud in the sky just passing by, no big deal. And that's where we want to get to. We want to get to a space where we know ourselves enough, who we are, what we are, and that this human aspect of ours is a small part of the immensity of us, of what we are. And it's almost like we learn to mother our body and our mind, our human incarnation. We mother it. We look after it tenderly, lovingly. And that means looking after all of the emotions, all the ugly ones, envy, jealousy, hate, resentment, maybe even ill will, and, all of that stuff. It's okay. It's all right. And when you're in the process of cleaning up, you're just waking up, you're just starting to realize, who am I? You just started mindfulness practices and you're just starting to quiet down, oh my God, can I tell you, so much crap's going to come up. All the stuff that you have been suppressing your entire life is waiting under the surface, is waiting for that moment of stillness to come up. And it's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be horrible. But that's okay. It needs to come up to move through you to be released. That's just how it works. So, so we buckle up and we learn to allow all of our emotions. And releasing them and then learning to not hold them anymore, in the future, is how we're going to reset our body, our physical body. To do that. Okay, so depending on where you're at, depending on, how old you are, how much you've been suppressing, and depending on your level of trauma. And there's so many other things that, other variables that would decide how difficult this will be for you. But depending on all of that, it's either going to be really difficult and painful, or a little bit easier. And the thing that will help you the most and will make this the easiest is if you have a person that you can talk to, that you can be honest and open with, and who can be there on your journey. And the best thing would be, of course, if they are on the journey as well. So there has to be some sort of understanding of what you're doing. I have found that support like that is the most important thing. It is not just important, it's invaluable. It's healing. It's just healing. Our physical makeup, our brain, needs other people to regulate itself. That's how it's set up. That's the system. The nervous system wants to regulate itself and be in a healthy state. And to do that, it needs other people. So the first thing that we want to do, that our brain wants to do, is to find other people to regulate, to co-regulate with. And of course, we start that as a child growing up. And to co-regulate with, that's our parents, and our siblings and whoever else is like in our immediate family. And this is not a side note, but if we now grow up and our parents don't know how to regulate themselves, and they are dysregulated and, alcoholics or neglectful, struggling themselves with even a mental disorder, just like depression or anxiety. It's so common these days, something like that, or they're workaholics. They're unstable in ways that, sometimes they're super happy and connected, and then suddenly something happens and they disconnect and they're flat and they're not there for their children anymore because now they're preoccupied with themselves and the state they are in and their pain. That is that is terrifying for the child. And the nervous system now can't regulate, especially if this is normal. If this is the norm for a child growing up, the child doesn't learn how to healthily regulate themselves. The brain and the nervous system, it doesn't learn how to regulate and how to be in a healthy space, to function in a healthy manner. You then get stuck in, just seeing danger in the world, being overly sensitive, being overly aware. And if that lasts too long or gets overwhelming, the body just says we can't continue functioning in this state. It's not healthy for our organs, and it's just not. It's not possible to live like this. So the brain's just going to say, all right, we're going to shut down. We can't live like this in constant alert, with blood pumped into the muscles, the gut not working properly, immune system shut down, the cortex, the high functioning part of the brain shut down in survival mode. It's like we cannot sustain this for too long. So if this danger continues and we don't feel safe, we're just going to shut down. And now we go into freeze mode. Now we go into that mode where the kid just says, all right, I give up. We shut down. So now we don't look for danger anymore. We just, don't even look anymore. Don't even try anymore. It's like giving up. It's like a helplessness. Now you have a child that could just, it's really insecure, shy, doesn't look you in the eyes. It almost mimics autism. And what it actually is trauma. It had no safe people around them to develop in a healthy manner and to co-regulate with, to have a healthy body, and to develop properly. Okay, that was the side note. Now, if there was a lot of that in our childhood, obviously now trying to feel all of our emotions and switch everything on again to feel is going to be extremely difficult. And how are we going to do that if we don't have anyone around us supporting us? Now, okay, what you can do is, and this is just something I've personally experienced, so I'm saying it not as a matter of fact and that this is it, but this has been my experience, and I think it actually fits in here. So what I did was, and I have had a lot of trauma, almost, I think, my entire life. I have never been around people who were regulated. I had never learned to feel my emotions properly, to allow them, to accept them. I always sort of had a degree of where I had to hide myself, and I wasn't able to really properly be myself, my authentic self. So when I started waking up, when I started my path on with spirituality, I went into what do we call it? It's what was the word? What's the term? Like not toxic spirituality. What's it called? Where you just forget your humanness and you just go into your spiritual self and forget everything else. I forgot the term. But I did that, and I think I did that because I had no one around me to co-regulate with. So I had to learn to self-regulate, to really go into my true self and live from there and heal there. And I did so much healing. So in a way, it wasn't a fault that I sort of, forgot about my humanness, but I think it was a mechanism that I naturally, instinctively knew I had to follow to heal. That was my path, And only once I was healed enough and regulated enough was I able to come back and then integrate my humanness as well in every aspect of me, right? So I think it is really good to have people around you who are regulated or who can also learn to regulate with you. But if you don't have that, it's not the end of the world. You can do it yourself. You can learn to self-regulate. It's just a little bit harder. Maybe not. I don't know, because I have not co-regulated before. So I don't know which one would be easier. I am now co-regulating with people, and it is the most beautiful thing, and I love it so much. And I have really missed this in my life. And I can now see how important it is. But I also know that co-regulating is great, and yes, keeping your body in balance and keeping your mind healthy and open and soft, and that's all perfect. But if you don't know that this is only a small part of who you actually are, and you forget that at the center, you are a spiritual being having this human experience, then you're going to be stuck in a state where you're constantly having to co-regulate. You're constantly having to fix things. You're constantly having to let go of things, and accept things. Your life is still, even though now you're being healthy and doing good things for yourself, you are still going to be in this space where you're going to have to do it continuously. Whereas if you focus on mindfulness, meditation, and centering yourself and living from this pure awareness, you're done. You're basically done. Then you release whatever is there, whatever you've accumulated over your life, and that's it. And then you just learn to live healthily. So, I co-regulate. Great. That's perfect. That's amazing for my nervous system. Wow. I'll do that. That's fun. That's new, And then, you're just living life like a play, It's play. It's like it's light and easy and joyful, and figuring these things out and learning these things and getting to have all these experiences is exciting and fun. It's not heavy and difficult and you feel lost. It takes on a completely different, it's a completely different perspective, So, yes, your body, your brain, your mind, you need to look after them. You need to make sure that everything's healthy, that everything is in balance. If you step out of the way, meaning you live from your pure consciousness, everything will regulate itself. It'll happen on its own. And you can watch that happen. And you can help it by educating yourself and knowing how your body functions and knowing what's good for it and what's not good for it. You can't completely, you can just shut off and just say, whatever, I'm going to sit here and meditate my whole life. Yes, of course. But you can also say, wow, incredible what I am, where I'm coming from. You bring this light into your life and you now have the chance to learn, simply things like, okay, alcohol is bad for my body. Oh, okay, I won't drink alcohol. Okay, eating sugar is bad for my body. Damn, I'll try and not eat so much sugar. Or maybe it's just things you become aware of, oh, my nervous system reacts if it is less regulated if I'm alone, and I do much better as a person when I have happy, healthy people around me, or simply people who see me, Okay, well, that's something you can work with as well. You slowly then start to realize the people around you who are toxic, who are not healthy, who don't see you. And you can at least understand why you seem to be moving away from some people and getting closer to other people. If someone doesn't resonate with you, you meet someone and you think they're really nice, but it's just something doesn't click and you're like, no, I thought there was something here, but just intuitively, something doesn't work. And you don't push it anymore. You don't force it anymore because you are centered in yourself. And then if you know that there is such a thing as resonance, for example, that if you are vibrating at a certain frequency, a positive, higher frequency, and that other person is vibrating at a lower, negative frequency, you'll know that because of resonance, you guys aren't going to click. It's just, you're not going to vibe. And that's literally, you're not going to vibe. And just knowing that You'll just go like, okay, cool, amazing how this universe is set up and it's looking after me. I don't have to do a single thing, instead of forcing a relationship that's going to be unhealthy. You know what I mean? And then finding out much later, damn it, this didn't work. And it's because you you forced something to happen that naturally just should not have happened. Because life knows, there is an order that we can't fully grasp and understand. So it is always best to just allow things to happen just naturally. But it helps to have the knowledge, It helps to understand why things happen a certain way or not, if that's something that excites you and that's something where you're like, wow, yes, I want to know more about this. This is so cool. Maybe you don't. And then it is enough to meditate and to be centered and to allow life to simply flow. And you don't know why something happens, but eventually you'll look back and you'll understand. And that's all good too, because, you want to live in the present moment. You don't have to understand everything. Sometimes it helps, though. So either you self-regulate or you co-regulate. So either you're doing it on your own, being centered from your pure consciousness, or you find people or you have people around you who resonate with you, who are on your same frequency, who are on the same path, more or less, and who are also trying to be healthy. And together you share and you can regulate together. And what I mean with that, and that's not everything, that's not the whole meaning of co-regulating, but what I'm talking about here in this episode is that it is important for us to be authentic, for us to allow our entire human existence, our entire human experience to come out, to be allowed to come out, to not have to suppress any parts of ourselves. So if there is the ugly stuff, like hate and envy, jealousy, rage, ill will, and oh my God, there's so much. I'm always just on those few. But there's so much, right? So anything we're experiencing, it is allowed to come up. It is allowed to, it's not a matter of being allowed. It is just what is. If anger is coming up in you, you can't pretend it's not there. That's suppressing. That's ignoring and suppressing it. That's not healthy. Your body will keep the score. Your body is going to hold that anger until it is released. And if you never release it, it's going to hold it forever. And it's going to make your body sick. And this isn't anger coming up once. This is going to be something you're going to continuously do. And the anger is going to get bigger and bigger, wanting to be released. And you're continuously going to suppress it. And you're going to need more and more force to suppress it. And you're going to reach a point where either you're going to explode and rage and make massive mistakes, or you're going to reach a point where you're going to be so stressed out, exhausted and sick from suppressing your anger that you're going to be really seriously ill. And there are many studies done where this becomes very evident, that the more emotions we suppress, the sicker we become, the sicker our body becomes, our mind becomes. Not just anger, any emotions at all, any type of suppression. So we should learn, it would be helpful for us to learn to allow our emotions to come out, to be felt. That doesn't mean we rage at people, and when anger comes out that we release it onto the people around us. No, but we allow it, we feel it, we feel it in our bodies, and we allow it to be there without suppressing it. We feel it. And it's okay, and there's a space for it. And if we are co-regulating, then we are telling the people who see us, who validate us, we tell them how we're feeling. And there is a safe space for all of that to actually come out, for us to speak about it, to speak it out into the world. And not in a blameful way, not in a way where you actually believe that this is truth, but in a way of, damn, I'm feeling all of this. This is all coming up. Knowing that it is only an emotion, only, in quotation marks. They're so strong and they're so painful, but they are not what we are. You are not these feelings. But it is so important to accept these feelings and to validate them, to know that they are there and that that's okay, that all of our feelings are okay. And if you have that person in your life that you can co-regulate with, who sees you, who you can share all of this stuff with, who you can be yourself with authentically, that is the most healing thing you'll ever have in your life. That is the best thing that you can do for yourself, to have that person that sees you, that you can talk to, that validates you. It is the most healthy thing for your body, for your mind, for you being here in this world. And if you don't have that person, just breathe. I didn't have that person for a very, very long time. And just trust the timing of your life and just self-regulate, find yourself, release as much as you can with yourself. Find yourself, learn who you are authentically, figure out who am I, what am I. Find that in you. Find your pure consciousness. Find all of your emotions. See what you're suppressing without even being aware of it. Let all that come up. Learn to do that. Practice. And as you clean yourself, and as you find yourself, and as you come to love yourself, you will resonate differently in the world. You will vibrate differently, and you will attract different people. And the healthier you become, the more aware you become of yourself, the more you will attract the right people in your life. So if you feel very alone right now, just take a deep breath. You are not alone. But if you are, then chances are you are in a space where I have been for a very long time. And it is that time where you hibernate inside yourself to build strength, to build resilience, to have quiet time with yourself, not out in the world, but internally inside yourself, to find yourself in peace and quiet, to really find yourself, to get rid of all this garbage that's there. And oh my God, it can be so painful, I know, and it can be so lonely. But if that's where you are, then that is where you are meant to be. And it is not to punish you, and it is not to make your life a hell, but it is there to teach you something that's vital, that you need nothing but yourself, that everything is within you. It is something that we have to realize in order to fully bloom, to fully unfold and live, to live from our heart, to live with love, not from the mind with fear. So don't fret if you feel like you're all alone and you don't have that person. Ultimately, we need ourselves. Self-regulation is the ultimate goal. But to get there, sometimes we do need to co-regulate. And once we do find our center and we are living from consciousness, we come back into life, and then we can co-regulate, and then we can enjoy life and live life and clean up here and clean up there and do whatever. And it becomes much, much lighter, and more cheerful. And still all the emotions will be there and they will flow freely, and it'll be much lighter. But yeah, I have found just the such an important thing for us to learn is to recognize all of our emotions that are there, the full spectrum, and to embrace them, no matter how ugly you think they are, no matter how painful. Because if we don't do that and we suppress them, they will run our life. And they will run our life through our mind from fear. and we're going to get hurt a lot, and we're going to hurt people around us a lot, and we're going to make a huge mess. There'll be a lot of chaos. So stop what you're doing, sit quietly, and have a look at what comes up. Sit with your feelings and make that a daily ritual, like a constant ritual, anytime, anywhere. If you stop for a second, be mindful, how am I feeling? What am I feeling? And just note it, don't react, just notice. And try and make that a habit, and see what happens, see what comes up. And also notice when you do get taken by strong emotions and how long it takes you to catch yourself that, damn, I was lost again, got swept by these emotions. And the more aware you become, the faster you'll catch yourself. But the most important thing is that you are aware of them and that you allow them without latching on, without interfering, without trying to push them away, without trying to change them, without labeling them, judging them good or bad, just watching, just be the witness. And the more you accept all of it, including the pain that comes with them, the more you allow it, the more it can move through you and release, and you'll notice it'll become lighter. But this isn't easy. I'm saying it like, just do that and it's all great. It is extremely difficult, but you will reap the rewards. If you do this, you will notice how much you will open up and how much lighter life will become and how much freer you will feel. And you will notice that if you are unhealthy right now, or you have disease, dis-ease in your body, notice how things improve as you release your emotions. Even muscle tightness. There are people who walk through life with tight muscles because their nervous system is in overdrive and they're just constantly having tight muscles. They get massages done and nothing helps. They have surgery. They have even, with the spine, stuff goes wrong. There's constant pain and you go and you try and figure out what is wrong with me. And it turns out it is emotions. It is just these stored emotions. And if you release them, the muscles soften, release, everything goes back to normal, balances out, and the pain goes away. But that's another podcast. That's something else we could dive into, though I don't know the details about it, so I won't. But it's highly interesting. And just notice your emotions, all of them. Don't be scared of them. You're allowed to feel them all. Not you're allowed. I keep saying allowed, but it's normal to feel them all. Completely. Please understand that. All of your negative emotions, you don't have to be embarrassed, including embarrassment. It is completely natural. We all feel it, every single human being. If someone tells you they don't feel embarrassed, they don't feel jealous, they don't feel hate, then they're lying. Then they are suppressing. Then they are not aware. Either they don't want you to think that that's what they're feeling, or they're so shut down that they don't even know what they're feeling. But we all feel it. It is completely normal. The important thing is that we don't identify with our emotions. They are not who we are. They are energy moving through us. Allow it to move through. Don't latch onto anything, good or bad. Just let everything flow freely, and then you will feel free. You will feel so much lighter.